Some legal experts have questioned the legal basis for the Speaker of Parliament's decision to declare the Fomena seat vacant. There have been mixed reactions since the Speaker of Parliament, Professor Michael Quay, declared the seat vacant. The New Patriotic Party, as you are aware, wrote to the Speaker informing him that the party had expelled Andrew Amwaku Isiama, the MP, from the party following his decision to go independent after losing in the party's primaries. Well, Speaker over the weekend ruled on the petition, declaring the seat vacant. We'll hear some reactions soon, but first, here's Professor Michael Quay speaking in Parliament last Saturday.
A member of Parliament shall vacate his seat in Parliament if he leaves the party of which he was a member at the time of his election to Parliament to join another party or seeks to remain in Parliament as an independent member. The petition from the NPP Constitution refers to which the MPP freely subscribed to, freely subscribed to provides in Article 391 that a member of the party who stands as an independent candidate against the officially elected member of the party or who joins or declares his or her support for another political party or for an independent candidate when the party has sponsored a candidate in the general or by-election automatically forfeits his or her membership of the party. After 7 December 2020, when Parliament is still in session till 7 January 2021, how does an MP operate both as an elected independent MP and at the same time an MPP MP if he should win the election? This lacuna of a ridiculous situation is not what is anticipated under the 1992 Constitution. In the circumstances, Parliament is determined that the conduct of Honourable Andrew Amwaku Isiama amounts to vacating his seat in Parliament. Accordingly, we bring this to the notice of the Electoral Commission for the necessary action to be taken in accordance with the law.
Now, on the AM show earlier today on the JoyNews channel, Executive Director of the African Centre for Parliamentary Affairs, Dr. Rashid Rahman, questioned whose interest a Member of Parliament represents, as it is believed that the people of Fomena were not consulted prior to this decision.
My biggest concern is about the issue of representation. And I think that this is something that our Constitution would have to treat very well and very clearly. Should we leave parties to determine whether we should be represented in Parliament, or should that be the responsibility of those who gave the Member of Parliament the mandate in the first place? You know, where are the people of Fomena in this? I mean, what is their say in the happenings in Parliament? For me, I think that that's the biggest issue, because in the work that we do, there is something that we call the legislator's dilemma, and that is, you know, we've been grappling in the research on parliaments. We've been grappling with the question of who a Member of Parliament truly represents, and here I'm just talking about a Member of Parliament globally, not just in Ghana. You know, many people ask the question, when a Member of Parliament raises his or her hand to vote on an issue in Parliament, is he or she representing the interests of the party, the interests of the people who sent him or her to Parliament, the nation, or some particular specific interests? And I think this matter before us lays bare, this issue. In this case, I think what we are being told is that the Member of Parliament represents the interests of the party in Parliament and not really the interests of those who elected him.
So this particular decision has garnered a lot of reactions. To help us understand the legality of this decision is lawyer Martin Pebu, who joins us on the line. I'm so grateful for your time, sir. So first of all, just educate us on what the law says when an MP vacates his seat.
Well, Article 97 makes it clear that if an MP crosses carpet, that is to say, if he leaves his party to join another party or seeks to become an independent, then he loses the seat. So two instances, he leaves his party to join another party, or he seeks to stay in parliament as an independent. In those circumstances, he loses his seat. As the Constitution says that it's a vacant speaker. And the way it's done is that it's usually the speaker who will announce that the seat is vacated. Even though physically, we all know in advance that the person is left, but of course it will take the speaker to do the formal thing. Okay, so in this particular instance, once the chairman was informed and he knows his party's constitution, and even apart from that, when there was evidence that he was about to declare, he drew his attention. So despite all these things, once he went ahead, he forfeited his membership of the party. Okay. And then it followed that he was going to lose his seat as an MP. There's no two ways about that.
Right. Mr. Kwewood, so a lot of lawyers have been speaking on this matter. Opinions are split on this, but it's very clear what the law says when it comes to determining when a seat can be declared vacant. What does the law say? What's the position of the law on who determines if a seat becomes vacant?
As I stated earlier, it's the Speaker's province to do so. The Speaker has a prerogative to say that, look, by this conduct, the seat is vacant, okay?
Right.
Practically, the Speaker must speak first. Then, if somebody is not happy with the ruling of the Speaker, that's when the person will proceed to court. So that's how you read the law, what we call purposively. Otherwise, then it means that the law would not function if we were to say that when you've seen that the person has gone independent or has joined another party, very clearly with our own eyes, you don't even need lawyers to read, lay people can see with their own eyes. If you were to say that nothing comes into effect until somebody goes to court to challenge and finish, oh my dear, this one, no, that's not what the Constitution intended. Anybody who has no argument at all. Look,
that's interesting you should say that, because a few, I wouldn't describe him as a legal expert, but Professor Kweku Asari and a few other lawyers say that it is not within the Speaker's right to declare a seat vacant. And it is rather that of a high court. It can only be determined by a high court. How do you respond to this?
It's not a serious argument. In my humble opinion, that's not a serious argument. Please, look, listen. The Constitution works in a certain context. The Speaker is the head there. So he must certify that, look, this seat is gone, it's vacant, okay? Then if anybody thinks that, no, what the Speaker has done is wrong, the person will go to court. So even apart from, let's look at it this way, this side works. So let's say now that the Speaker has given his ruling, if Mr. Siama is unhappy, he would go to court, and then as part of the court proceeding, he will seek an injunction to stop the Speaker from doing any other thing. You know, in the same Constitution, it says that when the time a seat is vacant, the next election is 3 months or less, there will be no election. Good. But if it were otherwise, so let's say if it were 6 months election or any other time that a by-election could have been held, and also sitting will be continuing, then Mr. Chairman would, as part of his this day in court, seek an injunction to stop the Speaker from preventing him from coming into Parliament to perform his duties and all that. So that's how it works. But it's not as if we will all sit down. So if nobody goes to court, then it means that he will continue. But it will lead to absurdity. It will lead to absurdity. So, and knowing also that we have this context that if you go to court, it's not a one-day affair, you can be there for years. No, and even you know that if you were to go to court, there can even be, after you've lost in the High Court, there can even be a further appeal. The logic of that argument suggests then that after the High Court is determined, then let's say, assuming one party, the party is not, that party is not happy, then the person goes on appeal. So we'll be on it, add it to 7 years, 8 years, right. And it just went to no, please. It's leading to absurdity.
So clearly you disagree with those who are saying that, the position of the speaker clearly is a violation of the law. In fact, they say he's violating the law with impunity.
Listen, no. And don't forget, this is not the first time. I remember Dr. Wayu saying in 2000 something, the early
right.
So he resigned from the NDC, right? Mm-hmm. He joined the MP. What did they do? They didn't take a court action before the seat was declared vacant. This is not the first time. When Wayu saying resigned, it didn't go to court before the seat was declared vacant. It was the speaker who did. No, please. Sometimes, as lawyers, I know there is diversity of opinion. Okay, I respect that. So I'm just saying that from my experience, okay, and the reading of the Constitution, this is not a matter that is in doubt.
Okay, right. Okay, be that as it may, the Fomena MP, Mr. Amoako, has now lost his seat. He is not an MP. He's not a member of the House any longer. Mr. Siama, exactly, Mr. Amoako Siama. He has lost his seat. He's no longer a member of the House. Does that necessarily mean that he will lose the benefits that he would have received or gotten had he, completed his term? In fact, people are asking whether he would actually be able to get his benefits, like the ex gratia.
Yes, he will get it pro rata. So for the period that he has served, I think it won't be. It doesn't appear that he will lose much. Since we have just about 1 month to the end of the term of this parliament. So he will pro rata for what he has worked for. He will get that.
Right. Mr. Amoako himself, Siama himself says that he still remains a member of the party, even though the party has expelled him. Do you think it will be prudent on his part to take up this matter in court to challenge the speaker's decision?
The word you used is prudent. And to come to a conclusion means that there will be a lot of factors. It doesn't appear to me that I have enough information to be able to come to that decision, because your word is prudent. It's not just a question of law. So looking at it, such a complex matter, the best you would do, if I can venture one, is say that if you were not to continue, that's to say that if you were to say, I withdraw from the elections, yes, that's one would certainly be prudent. But as for the court matter, considering, it's for him, because you know what, I'm just thinking of something. Now that some other lawyers are thinking otherwise, he may want to go to court to set the precedent that, okay, in future, will the speaker have the power to do so or not? He may well want to. Yes. All
right. Many thanks for your time. I had a lawyer, Martin Pebo, with that perspective on that Fomena matter, where the speaker has declared the seat vacant. He declared it vacant over the weekend, and opinions are split over whether it was within the right of the speaker to determine the vacancy of the seat and not the High Court. Let's stay on this issue because a Member of Parliament for Adentan Yao, Boabeng Asamoah, who described the Speaker's decision as a significant development in the country's politics, he also insists that members of a political party must necessarily play by the rules of the organization. But he's also admitting that it's their delegate system which appears to be failing them, as the delegate's choice is not usually the popular choice.
They didn't have to be consulted. The issues go back to the form of the electoral college that we have. And I think it's time that both major political parties looked at it. Because the people of Fomena, who the MP is representing as a whole, the MPP card-bearing members in Fomena, the larger community beyond the MPP card-bearing members, floating voters and otherwise, may like the MP. And then you have a collegiate system, a delegate system, which go, and that is where ourselves. The political parties need to sit up. It's not about Parliament consulting the people of Fomena. It's about the political parties putting in place the best methods, the most widespread methods for determining who their candidates will be within the communities. On the whole, by and large, it would appear that at the moment, the delegate system of electing MPs appears to be failing us in some instances, because the delegate choice doesn't always seem to be the popular choice. There are people who have said that we should go in the direction the Americans have, which is that all card-bearing members of the political party within a constituency ought to have a decision in who becomes the parliamentary candidate. And if that is the case, then you would find that there is widespread consultation. Plus, the person would have been compelled over the years to be working within the community to gain the trust of the community, so that in a time of selection, when a primary is due, your chances are enhanced because you are a community-based person. There's a sense that the delegate system is too narrow. There's a sense that too few people take a decision about who should represent them. And that in that sense, when there are too few people, the issues that are used, the issues that come under consideration for the selection tend to be too narrow as compared to the needs of the community.